Welcome. Let's revise the lesson, The Portrait of a Lady, written by Khushwant Singh. Let's review the main points. Khushwant Singh draws a pen picture of his grandmother. He has described the days he spent with his grandmother in the village. He describes the change that came in their relationship after moving to the city. He describes his grandmother's attitude towards Western education. So these are the points that we'll cover up in the next slides. Khushwant Singh says that his grandmother was old, short, fat, slightly bent and wrinkled. He always found her to be kind-hearted and deeply religious-minded. People told him that his grandmother was once pretty and beautiful. He just couldn't accept this idea. As for him, his grandmother was just a grandmother who was always old and wrinkled. But gradually he realized that she was truly beautiful, calm and serene, like a winter landscape. She was calm and contented. She always had a rosary in her hand and chanted inaudible prayers. When they moved to the city, he realized that she was quite flexible and calmly accepted the changes. And she was compassionate and loved birds and beasts. While she was in the village, she always fed stale chapatis to the dogs, and when she moved to the city and did not find the dogs, she happily spent the time feeding breadcrumbs to the sparrows. She was caring and concerned about her grandson. She was particular about his education in village and city both. In the village, she would take him to the school. The school was attached to the temple. So while the grandson studied on one side, the grandmother was absorbed in reading the scriptures till his classes were over. And then she escorted him back home. When they moved to the city, she couldn't help him in the studies, but then was very curious to know what all was taught. She perhaps believed in further education. She encouraged him to go abroad for further education and celebrated his homecoming. She had a fixed routine and was uncomplaining. Her day began with chanting the prayers. Then she would spin the wheels for a very long time. The happiest half hour would be when she would feed the sparrows. And everybody knew what she would be doing when. And the most important thing about her being a strong personality is that she prayed till the last breath despite protest by her family members. She was unbending. She just kept praying till the rosary fell off her hands. As I said earlier, grandmother's attitude towards education was really good. She was particular about his education in the village. However, when they moved to the city and he was sent to an English medium school, she could not assist him in the studies. But what disturbed her was that there was no teaching of gods and scriptures. Moral science was not taught, and moreover, music lessons were imparted, which she did not like. The reason being that she had a notion that music was just the property of the harlots or the beggars. But even then, she kept quiet, and everyone knew that her silence meant disapproval. When he was going abroad for further education, she was there to bid him goodbye at the station. She did not show sentiments as the grandson had thought over, but then she was there to kiss him and bid him goodbye and welcomed him back when he came back. The author describes his changing relationship with his grandmother. While they were in the village, the author was too close to his grandmother, and two of them spent the time together. The grandmother woke him up, got him ready for school, escorted him to school, brought him back again. The same bond was there in the city. However, gradually, when she could not help him with his studies, there was a slight distance, and that proved to be a turning point. Kushwant Singh fondly remembers the way his grandmother gave him a warm send off when he was going abroad for further education. She just kissed him on his forehead, and he cherished the moist imprint of it for a long time. When he came back, he found her at the station. This, of course, showed that she was still concerned about him and she was there to welcome him at the station. That was the most beautiful moment for Kushwant Singh. He also remembers the last moments of his grandmother. When Kushwant Singh came back after further studies from abroad, grandmother changed her routine for the first time. She just collected the women of the neighborhood and sang of the homecoming of the warriors. This trained her, and then she had fever. Everybody wanted that she must quietly lie down, but she was a very strong personality. She did not want to talk to anyone. She just wanted to pray and felt she had done something wrong. So, despite all protest, she was there to tell the beads of the rosary. And the final moment came when the rosary fell off her hands and she breathed a last. Surprisingly, the sparrows whom she used to feed, the sparrows came and mourned the death of the grandmother in large numbers. Surprisingly, those sparrows who used to be fed by the grandmother and would chirp and chirp sat silently around her corpse and mourned her death. The author's mother felt that the sparrows had come for breadcrumbs. So she brought some breadcrumbs and threw them, but the sparrows did not even take note of those breadcrumbs and silently sat. And as soon as the grandmother's corpse was taken away, they just flew away. This was a perfect tribute paid by the sparrows to the grandmother. She was really a very compassionate being, filled with love not only for the human beings but also for birds and beasts. Kushwant Singh rightly says that she was a perfect winter landscape, calm, serene, and pure. She was a symbol of goodness, calmness, contentment, and above all, religious mindedness.